Hi there, I'm here in Manchester. We're in the Town Hall, which is one of the most beautiful buildings in Manchester. Some really interesting architecture. It often gets mistaken for the Houses of Parliament in London. If you look behind me, you can see why it's very, very similar. And that's just one of the things we like about Manchester, the unexpected things that you come across when you're in the city. And we're going to take a look at just a few of those things now.
So I'm here in the Rylands Library. It's an amazing building. It was built by the wife of John Rylands after he died as a kind of labour of love for him. It's free to get in and I'd really recommend coming. It's really beautiful. It's great how the architects made the new style wing of the library just merge seamlessly with the old architecture. It's a really peaceful, great place if you wanted to just come and have a bit of time out in Manchester. I'd really recommend it.
So if arts and culture are on your itinerary when you come to Manchester, then there's no shortage of opportunities. There's great places to see like this, the Manchester Art Gallery, which is located in the centre of the city on Mosley Street, so it's really easy to find and get to. And there's a great collection of art which spans centuries, and as you can see, it's a beautiful art gallery. Best of all, it's free to get in. Generation Pop has been a fixture on the New York art scene now for over 2 decades, and they've recently opened their first gallery in the UK in Manchester. The contemporary art collection here has been inspired by 20th century cinema and popular culture. We're also outside the People's History Museum, which charts the social history of the UK over the last 200 years. Now, a lot of social and political movements started in Manchester to do with workers' rights, various sort of social issues as well.
Actually, one of my favourite facts that I learned today is that the vegetarian movement was started in Manchester, which, as a vegetarian myself, I found particularly interesting. And it was started by a guy whose name, ironically, was Reverend Cowherd. We liked that fact.
That's something we found amusing, and we found that out at the People's History Museum. I'm now inside the Royal Exchange Theatre, which, as you can see, is it's a beautiful building. It was actually the former Cotton Exchange. So I'm not sure if we can see some of the building around us. This was where 70% of the world's cotton was actually traded. So it's a really important historical building within Manchester. Now, when they were deciding how to reuse it, they decided to put the Repertory Theatre in the middle of it. As you can see, it's a bit like a spaceship which has landed in the middle of this magnificent building. And it's a 500-seat theatre. It's one of the biggest in Manchester. So actually really extraordinary reuse of space and really worth coming to check out, I think. So we're just outside where they're filming the new Captain America film. You can see the set behind us, which is in the North Quarter of Manchester. They've dressed up all of the set to look like New York in the 30s and 40s. So they've got all sorts of vintage cars there, and there's all sorts of stuff going on. Apparently there was lots of explosions and machine gun fire. We haven't heard any of that ourselves yet, but it's all very exciting, and obviously it's causing quite a lot of interest. Okay, so just below us here you can see that they're filming on the streets of Manchester, and this is for the new Captain America film. So we've just got an old 40s taxi down here and the camera behind it, obviously. I'm not sure exactly what they're filming, but it's all very exciting. Behind us now you can see one of the most recognisable modern landmarks in Manchester. It's called the Beetham Tower. It's 42 stories high, and it's the tallest residential block in the UK. So it's a pretty impressive piece of architecture. And there's a sky bar just where it sticks out there on the 24th floor. And the top 2 floors is where Mr. Beetham himself lives, apparently. So I think you can get a pretty good view from up there. So welcome to Castlefield. This area is just 10 minutes walk outside of the centre of the city, and it's where you want to come if you want to escape the hustle and bustle of the city centre. As I said, it's really central, and it's where it's got a lot of canals, all the industrial buildings which have all been renovated into apartments and restaurants. So there's lots of leisure facilities and lots to do and see when you're down here. I'm here in the centre of Castlefield, which is a great place to see the different layers of history in Manchester. We're just a stone's throw away from the original Roman fortification. We've also got the canals, and there's the modern railway and the old railway system here as well. And then there's also modern architecture such as the bridge that we're on. So we're standing at the site of the Hacienda, which is of course one of the UK's most famous and influential clubs. It was here that Madonna played her first set in the UK. The Tube was broadcast from here, and it was the start of the Manchester music scene. So a really, really important part of Manchester history, but also world music culture as well.